Nithyanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvaditam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasya Dilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadi Sakshibhutam Bhavaditam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Nithyanandam, welcome each and every one of you joining us here today on Nithyananda TV, Kailasa's official TV channel. Swamiji, His Divine Holiness, Jagadguru Mahasanidanam, Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, has taken the enormous effort and is reviving the only Hindu nation, Shri Kailasa. As a part of the revival, to revive ancient Dharma, to revive the Vedic tradition, and to give legitimate space where all these religions can live and practice in peace, in harmony, Swamiji has taken and is performing this enormous effort for the sake of Hindus, so that Hindus can live Hinduism. As a part of this, Swamiji has introduced the Vakyartha Sadhas and Jivahartha Sadhas to all of us. Every day, Swamiji gives the Nitya Satsang. Through his various teachings, discourses, even all the books he's written, so many different ways, more than hundreds and thousands of hours, Swamiji has given so much of teachings for all of us, so much of powerful cognitions and powerful thought currents. But just listening to those words, those teachings from Swamiji is only like eating the food. Unless the food is digested, it has no real meaning for the body. The same way, even after listening to the truths from the Master, unless the Vakyartha Sadhas happens, unless the churning and the essence of it is absorbed by the body, only then it has true meaning. Swamiji beautifully says that for imbibing any truth, there are 4 steps. The first, listening to the truth from the Master, is the first 25%. The second 25% happens when you internalize and do the manana. The third 25% happens when you have the Vakyartha Sadhas, when you discuss these truths with others and have the Vada Prativada, the debate. And the last 25% happens when you do the Jivartha Sadhas, when you live these truths in your life. Now, let's watch a small clip where Swamiji he himself speaks about the importance of Vakyartha Sadhas and why Vakyartha Sadhas is necessary. Please stay tuned.
Listen, listen. Manana, Vakyartha Sadhas every day will give you a complete understanding. Not only that, please listen, every time when you keep these spiritual truths in your inner space, analyze them, think about them, contemplate on them, every moment you spend on intra-analyzing these great truths, your incompletions melt down, you are living Advaita. Understand How much ever you struggle to find the solution externally, you will never find. You will never find the solution. What you expect externally. If you think, I'll finish all the work, I took it on myself or Swamiji gave it to me, and then I'll rest in peace. Never. Even after you leave the body, we have work for you. Understand, if you are expecting the external solution, no. You need to be told you are a fool. Wherever you really need to be told you are a fool, you should be told that is the real good thing for you. Only then you will understand the seriousness and start taking medication. Manana, internalizing is really, really, really important. Because the life gets aligned to living Advaita with Manana. Shankara says beautifully, Shrute Shatagunam Vidyan Mananam Mananat Abhinitidyasanam Lakshagunam Anantam Nirvigalpam. The meaning is Manana is 100 times superior to Shravana. Internalizing is 100 times superior to listening, and living is 100 times superior to internalizing. Nirvigalpa Samadhi, living Advaita, is infinitely superior. Please understand, you need to listen and internalize again and again and again. That is why I am insisting on Vakyartha Sadhas. Even if there are 2-3 sannyasis in your ashram, start the Vakyartha Sadhas. Slowly devotees will start gathering. Everywhere, in every ashram, every center, just like puja is compulsory, Vakyartha Sadhas should become compulsory. More and more learning, more and more internalizing, more and more completion. Understand, other than the spiritual solution, there is no solution. How much ever you try to find any solution, any problem, whether it is personal, professional, organizational, intrapersonal, and interpersonal. Interpersonal is direct fight. Intrapersonal is cold war. You won't fight, but you will be waiting. See, it's like directly when you fight, it becomes like an equal fight. But I have seen many cunning fellows, they won't directly fight. They will wait. At some point, they will get that neutral person position. That time, they will use that position and attack. When somebody else is attacking him and he is fighting with somebody else, he is a neutral person. Now come on, use that and attack. Violence. How much ever you hide, how much ever you keep inside and how much ever cunningly you plan, finally it is going to stink inside you, not anybody else. Whether it is interpersonal problem, intrapersonal problem, organizational problem, professional problem, or personal problem, the only way anything can be solved is spiritual solution. Vakyartha Sadhas is the best way for a spiritual solution, discovering spiritual solution for any problem.
Nithyananda, we're back. So beautifully Swamiji explained the importance of the Vakyartha Sadhas, why it is necessary to have the Vakyartha Sadhas every day. How, I don't know how many of you had joined with us previously yesterday, but Ashutosha Maharaj had beautifully shared yesterday his life experience and how he came and met Swamiji. He had shared that even though after changing his whole external environment, he still after 2 years felt the same boredom and felt the same non-purpose, without a purpose in life. So Swamiji beautifully addresses those problems in this satsang, where he says no matter how much of the external situations you try to change, nothing will change because the problem resides inside. You can never find an external source, you can never find external solution for your internal problem. So without further ado, let me go ahead and introduce the rest of the panel joining us here today for the Vakyartha Sadhas. My name is Shri Mangalananda and I'm a Balsant of Nithyananda Gurukul. I joined the Nithyananda Gurukul back in 2012 and have been here ever since. Along with me I have Sri Nithya Rajananda sitting here as well, live from Adi Kailasa. Around the world we have many people joining us today. We have Sanjay ji joining us from London. We also have Ashutoshananda and Jnanatmananda, both of them joining us from Canada. We have Murli Ayya joining us from Chennai. And we have Sri Nithya Achyutamayananda joining us also today, newly. Thank you all so much for joining us here today. So I'm going to just go ahead and let everyone introduce themselves, starting with the Raja Maharaj, for all our viewers watching us today. Yes, Maharaj.
Nithyanandam. My name is Sri Nithya Rajananda, and I am also a Balasant of the Nithyananda Gurukul. And been trained by Swamiji with the temple and the puja, and got to know a lot of the beautiful things that I learned was especially how Swamiji does his puja. And he always says you should see my puja, and I had an opportunity to see that almost every day whenever he comes to temple and sits or stands before the deities and offers his prayers. It's one of the most beautiful things to see and cherish. And I'm grateful to Swamiji to have given this opportunity to me. And with that knowledge and deep devotion that we learned from seeing Swamiji, we reproduce that in everyone and teach people how to do puja and how to have temple. So that's a little bit about me and the work I do. Thank you.
Things which you don't necessarily get to know when you before engaging into the spiritual path. But on the spiritual path, there's a lot of things which are unexplainable but happened and are very much real. And so during this experience, Ashtosha was a lot of like the self-doubt and everything just vanished instantly, and tears of bliss started to roll out, and it was an intense experience. And then and like that, other experiences happened as well. And then after that, I did apply for the sannyas training, and Swamiji initiated me into Krama Brahmacharya, the lifestyle. And since then, I've been in the Sangha and expanding cognitions about what Swamiji is constantly sharing with all of us. So very happy to be here today for this Vakyartha Sadhas. Nithyananda.
Thank you so much for joining us here today. Next we have Jnanatmananda, also joining us from Canada. You can go ahead.
Nithyananda Maharaj, thank you so much, Nithyananda, everyone. My name is Shri Nithyananda. I'm an elementary school teacher and computer engineering technologist from Canada. I've worked in more than 30 schools with more than 100 teachers around the world in education, taught yoga meditation for the last 20 years, and found out about Swamiji in 2008, and since then have spent about 10 or 11 years sort of full-time on this path, and was blessed to be initiated into the path of brahmachari by Swamiji in 2015. And thank you to Swamiji and for everyone else for being here. Thank you, Nithyananda.
Thank you so much for joining us here today. Next we have Murli Ayya joining us from Chennai. You can go ahead, Ayya, and introduce yourself.
Thank you, Maharaj. This is Murli from Chennai. I am a teacher and a trainer by profile. And I connected with Swamiji from way back since 2013. I should say, I was totally directionless in my life. Nothing, whatever I tried was clicking. Nothing ever turned out to be successful. I didn't understand where I was what I was lacking, where I was missing something. And it was through very hard and tough journey, I realized that it is the spiritual strength that one calls. I understood that for anything to be successful, for one to be successful, one needs physical strength, mental strength, emotional strength, and spiritual strength. So among this, I think it is the spiritual strength that was most lacking. Whatever I did have, I understood that it was the spiritual strength that was most missing. And I had to pay a very heavy price before I realized this. And after coming to Swamiji, I began to see sense in many things. I began to understand the purpose of many things, and I had dropped out of many things. See, during my Enlightened program, Swamiji asked us to keep away from mobile phones. And I was wondering, how can I ever keep away my mobile phone? Not that I was addicted to it. At that time, there was not even a smartphone was not even there. So it was not I was addicted to it, but physically parting away from it was too much for me. But when I came to the Enlightened program, I realized that did I even have it? Did I even need it? So such a huge transformation it was. That one change itself made me realize a lot of little things. And I'll share all that during the course of the discussion happening here. Thank you for the mic time. Back to Maharaj.
Thank you so much, Ayya, for joining us here today. So we have Achyutananda joining us newly. Achyutamayananda joining us newly today. Yes, you can go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yes, Nithyanandam, thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody. My name is Shri Achyutamayananda, and I'm from San Antonio, Texas, in the U.S. And I came to reach Swamiji during an inner awakening in 2017. And this brought a major transformation in my life, a rather quick transformation. Before inner awakening, I was in the accounting background. I was starting off my career in that field. And since then, there was just a huge transformation in even coming into Hinduism, meeting the master, my life made several big changes. I was living in the Adinam for about 2 years in India with Swamiji, and then since then I've been living mainly in the temple, doing full-time seva in the Houston temple. And since then, now I'm here back in San Antonio, Texas, and yes,
Nithyanandam, thank you so much for joining us here today. And last but not least, we also have Ranoshan joining us from Canada. We can go ahead, Ranoshan, and introduce yourself for all of us.
Thank you, Nithyanandam. My name is Ranoshan, and I'm from Toronto, Canada. I have a degree in software engineering, and I also studied medicine a little bit. And I got to know Swamiji around 2013. Actually, one thing I just wanted to share is actually life before Swamiji and life after Swamiji. Just one quick point. is life before Swamiji, even just looking back now, is the way I'll relate with life anytime some up or down happens, ends up actually being a kind of silly conversation with life. It becomes like the tools we think we have for life are not actually tools, but just simply a silly conversation. But then after Swamiji, after literally being blessed with Swamiji in the life, then the whole relationship with life becomes mature. The whole relationship with life, it's like Swamiji gives you enough powerful cognition. Swamiji gives you enough power. Swamiji gives you enough feeling connections. Swamiji gives you, I won't even use the word enough, but Swamiji gives you surplus. Swamiji gives you abundance. Swamiji gives you everything, anything you want. Swamiji gives you more than enough. Literally abundance. And really the conversation with life becomes mature conversations. And the life solutions you have are totally different. And it's one thing that is really, really a huge thing, especially now with the post-COVID world where there's a lot of global issues and everything. Even these simple life solutions attend to so many situations. And it's really something I feel that after being with Swamiji, it really is such a blessing and a responsibility, actually. So yes, this is just my introduction. Nithyanandam,
thank you so much for joining us here today. So just to brief everyone and all the viewers who are watching the Vakyartha Sadhas today, since December 14th, the Vakyartha Sadhas, we have been discussing immensely about how the Pralaya has affected all our lives. And Swamiji again and again had repeatedly said in the Satsangs after the ending of Pralaya, where the Pralaya, even though it is officially over, it has gone and has settled inside all of us, as in the forms of various thoughts, various decisions which we had made. And Swamiji told that it is important now that before we continue and go on with our life, before we now resume from where we had left off before the COVID-19 had set in, Swamiji wanted us, all of us, to sit and iron out ourselves, pick out those identities, those thought currents, those decisions which we had taken up during Pralaya, as all of them are tainted with the Pralaya. And only once we completely iron and filter our inner space, clean our inner space from these decisions, these thought currents, only then we'll truly come out of Pralaya. Only then for us Pralaya will truly end. Over the course of the past 2-3 days, Vakyartha Sadhas, we had discussed how we can identify those thought currents and those decisions which we had taken during the Pralaya, the ones which we are supposed to discard and renounce. Yesterday we had discussed about how Swamiji himself had given one of the best ways to fully come out of the effect of Pralaya is to see yourself as Paramashiva and to see everyone around you as well as Paramashiva. And in the course of the discussion we had come to the conclusion where power manifestation is one of the best ways to cognize yourself and others and everything else as Paramashiva. Today, in the Vakyartha Sadhas, we're going to bring up a very important topic, a very important aspect of the Pralaya. How the Pralaya affected us in terms of our relationship with the Guru. How without even our knowledge, we had been moved away from the Guru, and how that is affecting us. What can we do right now to bring us back to the space of the Guru? Bring us back into integrity with him, into oneness with him. It can be the smallest thing, from sleeping during his satsang to as big as announcing and saying that I will not be a part of this anymore. Both of these are just different frequencies and different variations of the same thing, where due to some other misunderstanding, some other cognition which isn't complete, whatever incompletions or half-baked ideas, all these things lead to slowly moving away from the Master. So today's topic, today's question is, how do we identify those thought currents, those ideas which are pulling us away from the Master? How do we complete them, and how do we bring ourselves more and more in oneness, more and more in integrity with the Guru? So this is the question placed before us today. I'm going to hand over the mic to Rajananda Maharaj and ask him to share his powerful cognitions and thought currents.
Thank you, Maharaj. Actually, I wanted to add the question that you're asking. Identifying, we all know where we have may have stepped away or may have been not integrated with the Guru-Vak or the way that the Swamiji wants us to guide, is guiding us. We know that very clearly, and maybe many people may be oblivious to it or not knowing to it until somebody has pointed it out. But it is understanding it fully that how much it has moved us away from Him. Any thought or any small decision, thinking that something is not practical, something is not I'm not able to do, something is very difficult to do. In these times, when these things come up, what is a Guru other than what is Swamiji other than the life intensified, life in front of you intensified. So whatever it comes, you only point your finger back towards Him and saying, no, you have not given me the correct cognition to handle this. You have not given me the way to understand this. Where you will blame and you will point the finger, but you should also understand at least that the solution is being given by Him only. And what I wanted to add to what we are asking is that how far have we gone away? For what I remember, how one should celebrate the Guru and have the Guru in their life, Guru Gita gives tremendous amount of examples of how one should cherish the Guru in their life. I mean, every day in Uttama Seva, I have we chant Dhyana Moolam Guror Murti, Puja Moolam Guror Padam, Mantra Moolam Guror Vakyam, Moksha Moolam Guror Kripa. Meaning that the source of all meditation and all visualization is the Guru's form. The source of all mantra is the words of the Guru. The source of all ritual, puja, worship is the feet of the Guru. And the source of all liberation is the grace of the Guru. So this is what we chant and every day. So I was thinking about this past few days and how Swamiji has been guiding us in the satsang and through the Vakyartha Sadhas also, and through the daily events. How first he talked about the Pralaya and what all is become redundant because of it. Next he asked us to look into what all thought currents we had picked up from Pralaya that we should not make any decisions on. And now he has beautifully given last night the first principle of Paramashiva there, that is that it is original truth that we are Paramashiva. It is not something we need to go towards and go and achieve, but it is the original reality that we are Paramashiva. So he is guiding us and moving us forward, and I'm having an internal. I'm going through the internal. Looking back as Swamiji is asking us and seeing how in the last year, how many decisions I have made have caused a lot of damage, with which if I act on those now or continue to act, the rejuvenation won't be complete. The Pralaya is a time for the rejuvenation. So if I take those same damaging thoughts and act on them now, I will be acting on them and Pralaya will still be instilled inside me. So I am finding out that yesterday I had brought out the point of where I was negligent, where I did not do something that I should have done or could have done, or I did not even think about doing an action where I have to correct something, where I have to become more authentic in something, or where I have to add, either because I didn't believe I will be able to, or I didn't believe that person has any listening for me. So this is where I practically felt where I missed. This Pralaya has settled in me in this way, where I have become inauthentic. But one more thing that I realized is, I felt a little overwhelmed yesterday that maybe it's a lot actually that I'm missing. How do I get back? And like similarly, how do I come back to a space where I feel I'm powerful and I can go look forward to a future, rather than now I'm seeing I have this much things I have to deal with. I have this much irritations, this much frustrations, this much anger. When how do I renounce these and go forward? And I had a click at that time, a powerful cognition, if you can say, that if I don't know, literally I just had to surrender it. I thought only I can pray, Swamiji, help me come out of this. Swamiji, help me relieve myself. I can still see that I have this much anger and this much of the issues inside me. this my reactionary based assumptions, and I don't know if I know you to guide it. Your guidance is even seeking his guidance wasn't the thing. Because in satsang, if you sincerely seek guidance from Swamiji, in satsang he gives you the answer. Many of us know that. Many of us know when we seek and sit and just pray that I need an answer to this question, it's answered in the satsang. But I didn't even have that. I only thought that I'll just pray, Swamiji, help me to come out of this. I didn't even think I'll be able to. So this is one of the things that Swamiji had told us, that if you're able to have powerful cognitions about yourself, have them. When you're not in that space, at least pray for them. So at least pray to have powerful cognitions. That let me please give me. I'm open to it. So in that space, at least you will be more open and not closed. And that's what I'm realizing where I've missed and where I've missed and where I can correct myself. And so when it comes to missing the Guru, this is the examples of where I do it, where I miss in getting lost in the impossibilities of things and not reassuring myself again and again that Swamiji is initiated and ordained. When he ordains, he sustains, and these kind of powerful cognitions. So it is in these moments only I realize I have to support myself, and this is the moments where I have when I go beyond impossibilities, that is where I've missed the Guru. That's what I wanted to share. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. So I just wanted to just add one thing here. It started off that you had mentioned that it's not something that we don't know. We already know where we are missing the Guru. In most places, even if we don't know, when others pointed out to us as well. We know the actions from which we are doing. Like for example, if a certain Guru Vak has been given, let's take morning puja. Swamiji has asked us to do morning puja every day. And not in alignment with that, some days we skip doing the puja. So yes, we know that we are not in alignment with the Guru Vak, that we are not doing puja every day. But half the time we do not know why we don't follow. Exactly what's the thought current behind us which we are taking that decision not to follow Guru Vak. Most of the times that is ignorant to all of us, and it is at that time that because we don't even want to identify the problem with which we are not following Guru Vak is the root cause of many of these problems. Because it will be the same thought current which is missing Guru Vak, and the same thought current why we are not doing puja, the same thought current which reflects somewhere else in a bigger issue, which people might think that issues which actually matter, like when Swamiji gives a real instruction or he gives some other work to do. Swamiji beautifully said that in Hinduism we have multi-dimensional logic. For solving your relationship problems outside, all you need to do is cleanse your stomach. It's a very beautiful principle of how the whole Brahmanda resides in a single Pindanda, where even though the size is reduced, the quality and everything else is still the same. Excuse me. When you realize and understand that the problems, if we solve in the Pindanda, the problems will also be solved in the Brahmanda. A beautiful story in where Vishwamitra, he gives Trishanku, and Trishanku wants to go to Devaloka. And when Vishwamitra tries to send Trishanku to Devaloka, Indra casts him out of Devaloka. So he's being trying to be pushed up by Vishwamitra, and he's being pushed down by Indra. So then Vishwamitra says, oh, why Indra Loka? I'll give you a separate whole universe for yourself. And through his power of his bioenergy, he creates a completely new universe for Trishanku. And Trishanku is still residing there in that universe, created by Vishwamitra all those thousands of years ago. And this is the power of changing. Excuse me. So this is one example of how Vishwamitra, just through his very will and bioenergy, created a whole universe for a single person. It is the same way when we apply this logic everywhere else. When we correct the small things in our life, doing puja every day, applying the vibhuti, Swamiji has given from small things which we should implement in our lifestyle to big cognitions which we should be carrying out with us throughout the day. At some point in some problem of our life, we might think, oh, what is all this powerful cognitions, all this only for speaking and debating, it's nothing from a practical, useful in a practical life. We feel that way because, in another sense, it is basically the same cognition. If you have about in puja and vibhuti, the same thought current which you have, the what is the use of doing morning puja? It's just 4 or 5 minutes. How is this going to help me in my day-to-day life? All use of applying vibhuti is just a simple powder. How is this going to help me in my life? The same cognition which we are using to avoid the daily puja and the morning vibhuti, it is the same cognition which reflects in not implementing Swamiji's spiritual principles, his teachings in our day-to-day life. Finally, in the end, is the thought current. It will not be more than 1 or 2 thought currents. But those 1 or 2 thought currents are what is preventing us from identifying and solving many of the problems which we are facing in our life. Be it from morning puja till solving relationship with your spouse. Both of them reside in the same thought current. Why we choose not to apply Swamiji's teachings in our life. So that's just all I wanted to share here. Go ahead and allow Sanjay ji to share his cognitions and thought currents on this. You can go ahead, yeah.
Actually, Nithyananda, I'm still forming my my cognitions on this topic. So.
Oh, that's fine, yeah. So we can come back to you. Then maybe we can move on to Ashutosh Ananda and allow let him go ahead and share his thoughts. Please go ahead.
Yes, Nithyananda. One thing that Swamiji was sharing is that when Swamiji was introducing the 4 images, one of the clicks which Ashtosha had was Swamiji shared that the Guru becomes the central point which allows you to reintegrate yourself with your with all your images, and that all the life image that we have and that we project everywhere and that gets reflected to us in various ways, then that life image gets projected on the Guru and it comes back to you, and when it comes back to you, you can do completion and come back to a space of pure life positivity. So one of the main clicks during this Pralaya that Ashtosha had was in that space of I know how it should be done. This is not how it should be done. It should be done like this. It should be done like that. This kind of inner space where you go into this mode of dictating how things are supposed to happen and how things are supposed to function, that inner space cuts your relationship with Guru. Because the purpose of the Guru-disciple relationship is for you to surrender. The Ramana Maharshi, Swamiji was quoting Ramana Maharshi, and the Ramana Maharshi was saying that the energy which is running the entire cosmos, don't you think that energy can run your life? But we fail to realize that. We fail to realize that that energy is there, and you can surrender to it, and it will take care of you 100%. But instead, we go into a mode where it's like, no, I know how it should be done. It should be done like this. It should be done like that. And when things are not going the way we want, we start to generate and cherish anger, frustration, restlessness, and all kinds of life negative emotions. So the main click was, no matter what is in front of you, no matter what is the Guru Vak, no matter how big a task is in front of you, it's jumping in it wholeheartedly. And if at any point throughout there is any form of powerlessness, just being aware that there is powerlessness, surrendering it at Swamiji and asking Swamiji to guide and asking Swamiji's blessings for the continuation of the happening. And not start to decide, no, this is not how it should be done. It should be done like this, and not try to create your own, carve your own path, which is completely unnecessary. So that was one of the clicks. This attitude of wanting to do things your way, and that your way is the right way, that thought current, it damages and destroys the feeling connection between the disciple and the Guru.
Thank you so much for sharing your... Excuse me. Thank you so much, Ashutosh Maharaj, for sharing your powerful cognitions. I'd like to go ahead and allow Atmananda to go ahead and share his thoughts. You can go ahead, yeah.
Nithyanandam, yeah, it's awesome to hear all these things. And with all the satsangs Swamiji is giving is incredible. And continuing in the Vakyartha Sadhas and just Swamiji saying, expanding towards living Advaita as it being infinitely more powerful. So just any kind of way missing integrity at all. And so one of the things is just missing the opportunity that, and actually even how Swamiji is sharing that there's this opportunity actually to direct your excitement towards Swamiji. So sort of missing that part and like missing that opportunity. So whatever it is, losing sight of the opportunity to engage with Swamiji or report with Swamiji and be involved in whatever kind of projects and opportunities. So just that opportunity to like really sit with yourself and declare integrity from me to Swamiji, declare that I'm in integrity from now, make myself like also to be sensitive to it and authentically integrated like between me and Swamiji, and give the self some time also like morning and night to reevaluate authenticity and integrity and redeclare the integrity like anytime, and just working to make the self authentic and keeping myself looking at Swamiji and keeping this integrity with him, like this focus on from me to him, like a personal relationship, and so that opportunity to engage with Swamiji with excitement. So that is sort of like even Mangala Maharaj telling about the Tyaga opportunity with avoiding to dump the food inside. So those kind of completions and like, so relieving of the fears by allowing those sort of things to happen. And just, being authentic with myself and my integrity, then how much excitement and integrity I can direct towards Swamiji, like keeping that relationship there, keeping an eye on it every day. Swamiji really supports all of this. Having the courage to look at him and declare integrity and be as authentic as possible with it, continue to stand. So there's an opportunity like to direct excitement towards him. So it's a rare opportunity, and just wanting to like declare these vows and to have that, to be engaged in that personal relationship with him, because we all have a personal relationship with him. Often we get distracted in other things, but actually he's engaged in a direct personal relationship with all of us. So that's mostly the thing, is like Swamiji is always supporting us in integrity. So standing and declaring my integrity to him and focused on maintaining that to him. And he's saying, be more and more excited. Like that's the thing that exists when this body goes away, is your excitement. So that's what he is. So if you direct that towards him, he'll give it back to you like 1,000 times. So that is sort of, from here, that's the perspective of how it's to move forward and maintain the integrity and completion.
Thank you so much, Shaya. Actually, there's a very beautiful point of which Nyanatmananda had brought up. Each of us cherish a personal relationship with Swamiji. And if you go back a couple of months, Swamiji had given a beautiful technique on how we can, when you want to achieve Paramashiva, to first think that you are Paramashiva and others are Paramashiva, first you need to experience what is Paramashiva for you. And many of us, we don't have any idea about Paramashiva. Other than Swamiji using the word again and again in Satsang, in our own imagination about him, in our real life sense, we don't have an idea of Paramashiva. But we do have an idea of Swamiji. We do have the relationships, the moments which we cherish the most with him. Those memories, those are actually the real moments of Paramashiva which are important to us. So again and again, remembering those moments, again and again speaking to that Swamiji living inside of us, having that relationship with him. Only when we start experiencing Paramashiva in that sense, because that is the only way in which we can experience Paramashiva, through Nitya Puja, through just talking to him inside ourselves. It is through these ways when we start experiencing really what is Paramashiva, He is powerful enough to change us and make him also like him, and then we'll be able to see others also as Paramashiva. So Swamiji just gave a beautiful technique where just whatever happens, whatever is going on in your life, whatever is going on in your day-to-day routine, just talk to that Paramashiva living inside you. Paramashiva, I got up now, I will go take bath, we need to go and continue the next routine. Just having the continuous conversation with Paramashiva inside of you, because he is the one waiting, when will you come and open up to him. So having that conversation with him, opening up to Swamiji, to that Paramashiva living inside of you, that is where the real Paramashiva, that is where really you actually start experiencing Paramashiva in your life. So just a small thing I wanted to add to Nyanatmananda.